So in one of the pieces of research in Facebook, we know that they made a change to their algorithm that caused political parties in Poland, in Hungary, in Spain, in Taiwan, and India to go more negative and divisive. So specifically, they changed their algorithm to something called meaningful social interactions. And what that did is they actually talked to people in European political parties who said, hey, Facebook, we know you changed your algorithm. And Facebook says, oh yeah, everyone has a conspiracy theory about how we're changing our algorithm. What do you think it was? And they said, no, we know you changed the algorithm because we used to post papers on, say, agricultural policy or something that was just our policy position on something. And when you changed your algorithm, we no longer got likes, traffic, or comments on those posts. So we know you changed it. And they said, and specifically, we know you changed it in a way that made us more negative because the only thing that got attention is when we actually said bad things about our opposing parties. And so that's all, and they said we can't not do that because we need attention, so they would prefer not to post bad things about the opposing parties, but they said that they had to start doing that anyway. But this also changed not just political parties, again in Spain and Poland, but they also changed the behavior of news publishers. So Breitbart, BuzzFeed also said similar effects, that they only started to get attention when they generated things for what they call downstream MSI, or downstream meaningful social interaction, which was basically sorting for what generated the biggest argument comment threads on Facebook. So they made a mistake that meaningful social interaction meant just big, long, angry comment threads. So let's talk about why this is so problematic and what the stakes of that kind of change are.
Yeah, when we have a technology company like Facebook, and we can see similar things in Google and Amazon and a few other major companies that have similar kinds of technology and business models.
Specifically of monetizing user attention.
Specifically where natural monopolies occur based on network dynamics, where the more users that engage in a platform, the more value there is per user. So once you get beyond a certain kind of escape velocity, there will be one player within a specifically defined vertical that will usually be bigger than any other player, and usually bigger than all the other players combined. And we can see that with YouTube for video players, and Google for search, and Amazon for online shopping, and Facebook for total attention and time on site. And it's not a monopoly in the sense that the government knows how to regulate, meaning a government supported monopoly. It's a natural monopoly in a way that when we made the rules on monopoly and trust didn't even exist, because network dynamics that are internet mediated are a newer phenomenon.
So I just want to double click here. So when we say network dynamics, we're saying those political parties in Europe who said we want to reach our users, they don't have some other network. When they don't like how Facebook's changing their behavior, they can't go to some other social network to reach all those people because Facebook has a monopoly on their political audience that they're trying to reach.
And some other social network that you can make something like Snapchat that has a totally different value proposition, but within a similar value proposition, another one can't really emerge easily because it's going to have way less total users. And I don't want 10 different social networks that I have to have 10 different user interfaces and logins to find a few of my friends in different places. I want the utility of being able to find everything in one place, just like with Amazon shopping, just like with Google search. And so it actually has the function of monopoly of breaking the kind of competition that would create a check and balance on the consolidation of power. And so you do get a situation where the political parties simply can't not advertise on Facebook and still have any chance of getting voted for.
Right. Basically, every political party in the world now, if they want to get elected, they have to either both use Facebook and probably advertise on Facebook too, or they won't get elected.
And let's say they say, no, we want to focus on legacy broadcast media. We're just going to use television and newspaper and like that. Well, where do the people even go see the television clips or see the magazine articles, click on the Wall Street Journal or the Bloomberg thing? Since there is a monopoly of attention, it's actually going to be a clip of the Fox News piece that goes viral on Facebook. That is what takes people there, which means that the Fox News broadcaster has an incentive to optimize it for Facebook's algorithm more than even for Fox viewership.
Right, so there's Tucker Carlson, and people think, oh, well, the problems, Daniel, that you and Tristan are talking about, this predated social media because we always had partisan television, partisan radio, or partisan politicians. But the point you're making is when Tucker Carlson's there on a Tuesday night and he's communicating, he's not communicating to the 2 million people that happen to be watching Fox News at that moment. More and more of the percentage of his distribution isn't in that moment on Fox News, it's actually downstream on all of these different social platforms. So he's basically has to accommodate whatever will get him attention, not on TV, but on Twitter and Facebook and so on. So when Facebook changes its algorithm, Tucker Carlson has to change his behavior.